Whoever told you that the reason why you're losing your trades isn't your strategy, isn't the market, it's your addiction to action. Yeah, I said it. You're doing too much, you're chasing setups, forcing trades, needing that dopamine hit and calling it grinding. But the truth is, real traders win by doing less. Sounds boring, right? Good. Because boring is where the money lives. This episode isn't for hype chasers, it's for the ones ready to level up mentally, emotionally, and professionally. Because once you understand that discipline beats excitement, everything changes. By the end of this episode, you will see the game differently. You will stop overtrading, you will stop needing chaos to feel confident, and you will finally start trading like the top 1%. Calm, controlled, and consistent. This is Trader Mind Mechanics, and today we break the cycle. Let's go. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and also share. You ever notice how trading feels a lot like chasing a high? Like you're hooked on something you don't fully understand, but you need it anyway. So for me, I started it with rush, the heartbeat in my throat, the electricity in my hands, and the flicker of hope every time the price moved in my favor. It's addicting as well. It's one of the hardest addiction to kick because it disguises itself as productivity. Here is a catch. Your brain doesn't see the difference between profitable trade and reckless impulse. It just registered actions, movement, and stimulation, and that releases dopamine. That chemicals that makes you feel alive, alert, and important. So you sit there, glued on a screen, not because the market demands it, but because your brain is screaming for that dopamine fix. This is the addiction to action. I used to think more trades meant more chances to win. I thought if I was constantly moving, I was losing time, losing edge, losing control. But trading isn't about movement. It's about patience. It's about restraint. And you ever sat through a 30-minute window where the market does nothing, just reduces action, quiet and boring? Most of traders freak out. They think this is a waste of time. I'm losing money sitting here doing nothing. So they force trades, they override their rules. They double down on setup that look close enough, and even every time like it chips away at their account, and there is confidence at their sanity, okay? So I remember nights where I did literally open and close 10 trades in an hour. None of them fit my strategy, but I had to do something because sitting still felt like failure. But here's the brutal truth. The market doesn't reward business. It rewards discipline. It rewards a trader who can sit in silence, watch the screen, and do nothing until the perfect moment arrives. And I mean do nothing in the truest sense. Not clicking orders, not moving stops, not chasing after setups that don't fit. Boredom is a price you pay for discipline. But what's funny is that boredom feels like pain. Your brain is where to avoid it at all costs. It's uncomfortable, it's restless, and for many traders, unbearable. That discomfort is exactly what's or where your trading breaks down, because instead of embracing boredom, you fight it. You chase trades to fear the silence, and you convince yourself just one more trade, but one more trade turns into 5, then 10, then suddenly you're emotionally spent and you're financially damaged. Trading is boring, and that's the point. If the slow grind, the repeated routines, and the constant vigilance without constant action, your edge comes from what you don't do, what you resist doing, and that's where the real money lives. Let me tell you a story. There was a week around where I was obsessed with the charts. I stayed up till 3 a.m. refreshing my platform, clicking, refreshing on the newsfeed, and jumping into setups that barely fit my plan. I lost 8% of my account in those few days. I was devastated, but what hurts was than the losses was the realization that I wasn't trading, I was gambling. I was a slave of my own impulses. I thought discipline meant never breaking the rules, but I was naive. Discipline was deeper. It meant mastering the discomfort of doing nothing, even when every part of me screamed for action. So I forced myself to stop. No trades for a day, then 2 days. When I sat down with boredom, I faced the emptiness of the screen, and slowly the itch faded. So that week changed me because I realized that trading is a war against your own impulses, against your addiction to action. So if you're honest with yourself, you felt this too. You know that itch, that restless energy, the voice whispering, you should be doing something. Learn not to listen, to embrace boredom. That's the hardest lesson in trading also. But it's also the most valuable, because once you master boredom, once you learn to sit in the silence without flinching, that's when you unlock your true edge. And from there, real trading begins. One of us realized that trading wasn't about constant action, that trading was mostly about waiting. It hit me like a punch in the gut. You see, I wasn't prepared for boredom. I was addicted to noise, to chaos, to the adrenaline rush. I thought if I wasn't clicking, moving, trading, then I was losing. My mind equated movement with the progress. Sitting still, that felt like defeat. But the market taught me otherwise. This brutal truth every trader has to face. The shift from chaos to routine is the hardest shift you'll ever make. I still remember the first week. I tried to follow my trading plan exactly. No deviation, no sneaky trades, no just one more mentality. I felt like I was wearing shackles. Every minute I spent watching the screen without taking a trade felt like torture. My brain screamed at me, what if you're missing the move? What if is the trade that changes everything? I fought it. I tried to distract myself. I told myself that discipline wasn't a smart thing, that it would pay off. But sitting through the boredom was agony. The rest part wasn't the rules, it was the silence. And what's worse, I saw other traders around me acting like maniacs, jumping in and out of trades, boasting about quick wins, and here I was sitting still, feeling powerless. The FOMO, the fear of missing out, crushed me. I thought maybe I was too slow, too cautious, too weak. But that week I stayed disciplined. I didn't blow up my account. I didn't make a single reckless trade. Instead, I learned something deeper. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about building trust in yourself, and the trust that you can wait, watch, and strike only when the odds are in your favor. So, how do you make a shift? How do you go from chaos to routine when your brain is wired to crave action? It starts with acceptance. You have to accept that you are not the market. No matter how smart, no matter how fast your reaction, you cannot control the market. You only control you. That realization was freeing and terrifying at some time, but because it means letting go of control, and controls feel like security. So the first step was building routine, daily routine, rituals that didn't depend on the market moving or not. For me, it was simple things: waking up, reviewing my trades, my trading journal every morning, meditating to calm my mind before the market opened, setting strict rules for what setups I will take, and taking breaks and walking away when from the screens when I win or lose. Building these rituals gave me a framework, a foundation I could stand on when the market was chaotic. But even with routines, boredom lingered. The silence between trades was deafening. And I realized that boredom wasn't like the enemy. Resistance to boredom was the enemy. The urge to fill that silence with noise, with action, with impulse traits. That's what destroyed traders. I started reframing boredom. I told myself boredom was a sign of control, that every minute I could sit still, resist the urge to trade, I was winning. It's like training a muscle. Every time you fight the urge to act impulsively, you get stronger. Every time you embrace the silence instead of fearing it, you build resilience. I want to be honest here. This process isn't glamorous. It's messy, it's lonely, and sometimes I'll still fight that rage. Sometimes I still, feel the pull of the chaos. But with routine, I have tools to catch myself. I journal my emotion. I recognize the triggers that makes me want to act. I use breathing exercises to calm my mind, and most importantly, I reminded myself trading is boring, and that's the point. Trading is discipline disguised as boredom. The path to consistent profit is paved with quiet moments of patience. So, if you're struggling with the urge to trade impulsively, you're not weak, you are human. And the hard shift from chaos to routine is a gateway to real trading success. It's not easy, it's not fast, but it's worth agonizing minute. If you made it this far, you already know that trading is mostly waiting. The itch to jump in, the hunger for action, the battle with boredom. But now comes a real magic. The moments when boredom stops feeling like your enemy and starts becoming your ally. I want you to imagine boredom in a new light. Not a punishment or a failure, but a signal. Boredom is a power to consistency. It's a quiet space where your discipline breathes. It's a pause for precision. When you start to see boredom as a necessary part of the process, trading shifts from roller coaster to steady journey. This was a huge turning point for me, and it might be for you too. You see, in the early days, boredom felt like a dread, and if I wasn't doing something exciting, I thought I was missing out on money. But the reality, the real profits aren't made in excitement, they're made in the quiet, boring moments between trades. This is where the phrase less is more hits home, because your age isn't about trading every setup or forcing action. Your age is about waiting for the right setup, about keeping your cool when the market is flat, about sitting still while others chase their noise. Trading is like being a sniper, not a machine gun. You don't spray bullets everywhere hoping to hit something. You wait, you breathe, and you take the perfect shot. Let me tell you a story about. There was a week where the market was slow. So slow, it felt like time was standing still. Most traders I knew were jumping at shadows, entering trades just to fill the market. But I decided to sit it out. No trade, just journaling, reviewing, and preparing. At first, the boredom was unbearable. I questioned myself every day. I'm missing something, I'm being lazy. But then, the setup appeared that was crystal clear. Because I was patient, because I was calm, I entered it with confidence. That trade made me a solid profit, and it wasn't luck. It was the results of waiting, the results of embracing boredom. This patience gave me something no quick trader has. That is clarity. Clarity in my decision, calm in my mind, control over my emotions. You see, boredom teaches you to be emotionally neutral. Not euphoric when you win, not devastating when you lose, just steady, just present. When you master emotional neutrality, you stop chasing losses, you stop forcing trades, you follow your plan with precision, and that's consistency. So how do you reframe boredom? How do you stop fighting it and start loving it? First, understand that boredom isn't emptiness. It's a space to breathe, space to think, space to prepare. Second, build ritual that fill boredom with purpose. For me, that meant journaling trades, not just the winners, losers, but my mental state, my emotions, and my triggers. It meant reviewing my trading plan every morning, and it meant meditation and breath work to stay grounded. Remember, your biggest edge is what you don't do, what you resist doing when boredom creeps in, because trading is about doing less with more control. So if you take anything from this episode, let it be this: embrace boredom and learn to love the silence, because that silence is where real power grows. So you've felt the addiction to action, battled the chaos, and accepted the boredom. Now it's time to build something solid, something that lasts. Trading isn't magic. It's not fireworks and adrenaline. It's boring, it's repetitive, and if you want to be successful, you have to embrace that. The question is, how do you build a system that's boring but profitable? Here's what I learned and what I want to pass on to you. Number one is rituals, or making rituals as your foundation. Start with routines that don't depend on the market. Wake up and journal, review your setups, prepare mentally. These rituals anchors you, and they build consistency and keep you grounded even when the market is, quiet. Number two is mechanical rules are greater than emotional decision. A system should be mechanical, clear rules that remove guesswork. No guessing, no hoping, only precise and repeatable action. Because when boredom hits, your emotion try to hijack your decisions. A mechanical system will keep you on the track. Number three is track your emotions, not just traits. I can't stress this enough. Journaling your feelings is as important as journaling your traits. Okay? So, what triggers you to break a rule? Where did you feel the itch to trade impulsively? Tracking this builds awareness, and the first step to breaking bad habits is knowing where the real problem is. Okay? Number four is building breaks into your day. So boredom isn't about waiting for trades. It's about managing your energy. Take breaks, walk away from the screen, meditate, do something unrelated. This resets your brain and stops the impulse to overtrade. Number five is trusting the process. You wouldn't get rich overnight. You won't feel excitement every day. But if you trust the process, you keep showing up to the boring parts, your edge will compound. Trading is a marathon, not a sprint. And number six is celebrating small wins. Not just winning trades, celebrating days when you resisted temptation, celebrating routines followed, celebrating emotional control, and these small wins builds momentum. Let me be real with you. Most traders fail because they chase excitement. They want quick wins, big drills, but the market punishes that every time. The trader who win, they are the ones who embrace boredom, who builds boring system, who trust routines, who masters themselves more than the market. And so here's my challenge to you. Start small, build your routines, journal your emotion, practice patience, and when boredom hits, lean to it. Because that boredom, that's where money lives. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey. And remember, trading is boring, and that's exactly why it makes you rich, okay? So make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and also share. Let's meet in the next video.